any combination of genius in those top two can be in any role within an organization. So there's not a lot of like, in your top leadership team, you're going to have all W's or all I's or G's or what have you. You should see, because we are all individual people, some variety.
Welcome back to Torch Talk, the show where we spotlight bold leaders growing businesses and communities with grit and purpose. Today's guest is Deanna Nichols-Stika, Director of Branches Institute. In this Torch Talk episode, we'll explore her Blaze Business Conference presentation and take a deeper dive into how the Working Genius framework strengthens teams and leadership. Welcome to Torch Talk, Deanna.
Thank you, Lindsay.
I am so excited to dive into all things Working Genius. So first, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Fantastic. I'm Deanna. I get to work at Branches, and I get to do a couple of things there. Primarily, I do consulting work for leadership development, one-to-one coaching, small group coaching, really just getting to work with incredible people, helping them feel better and stronger and more confident in what they're doing, which is so much fun.
And you do a great job. I know our team has done some exercises with you, and they always love the chances when they get to be in the same room as Deanna. So
you've got a great team.
Thank
I
you.
love them. I love them.
Okay, so tell us, what is Working Genius?
So the 6 types of Working Genius is an assessment tool that we can use to really help us figure out what is our productivity style. And so it is an assessment that's 80% productivity insights and 20% personality. So there's lots of assessments out there that give us lots of wonderful information. What I love about the Working Genius is that it is focused on productivity. So it gives you insight to what do you love to do, what fulfills you in the type of work that you're doing. And also what I love about it is it helps teams figure out how to work better together and more efficient.
I know, I can't wait to dive into that part of it. Like, I am very curious about myself personally, but then also as a team, how does this actually look when you put a whole bunch of people together? And we just test everybody, but that's more a personality test. And so this being a productivity test, I love that description of it. It's more like, how are you working? And really, I think going through the process of identifying what frustrates you can be a little bit liberating, because maybe we do get frustrated, but we don't always know why we're getting frustrated.
That is spot on, spot on. And that's what I love about this assessment. So I want to make sure that we're really clear in our communication, is that the Working Genius is a ranking system. So it gives you 6 different geniuses that we all work in, and it just ranks them. What are your top 2 that you're best at? What's the middle 2 that you don't mind doing, and you're good at it, but it just doesn't fulfill you as the first 2? And then the bottom 2 are your 2 that, yes, you can still do, but they frustrate you. You're just like, wow, why don't I get joy from this? And so it helps add clarity about why you're feeling the way that you're feeling in the work that you're doing. And then from a team perspective and a leader perspective, it helps you figure out how to align people in the right roles that they're going to feel really fulfilled in, really successful in, and just grow deeper as a person, as an employee, and an effective team member, because you know you got them in the right seat, which is so exciting.
Okay, so take us through, what are the 6 different types?
So 6 different types. Let's start at the very top. There's an acronym, WIDGET. So W is wonder, I, invention, D, discernment, G, galvanizer or galvanizing, E is enabler, and ending out with T is tenacity.
What are your Working Geniuses?
I am an ET. I love the details. I'm an enabler is my top Working Genius. I'm a social worker by trade, and I love helping people. Enablers, We love helping people and helping support people. So I wasn't too surprised at that one. My second one is T. That's tenacity. We love to finish projects. Like I love that check mark at the end of a project. So I love that. What are your top two?
DI, which is funny because I'm also a DI on the DISC test, so that's easy to remember.
That makes it super easy. That's nice. Yeah.
So discernment and invention, which I think makes sense as well. Wonder is in the middle, and I spend a fair amount of time on those things. But so what is D?
D is discernment. D loves to have things brought to them and look at them and determine, is this really good, or maybe should we do some tweaking? Discerners also like to ask lots of questions. Like, how did we
That's
end
how
up
I
here?
knew. I'm like, yeah, I always have 1,000 questions. I almost can't go somewhere and not have questions in my head. Like, I wish I stopped sometimes, but I don't have the ability not to. So that one did not surprise me at all.
How you're made.
Yes.
I love that.
And then invention.
Invention is that you have an idea and then you just love to iterate on it. You love to figure out how to make it better, tweak it, really just imagine, iterate on what could be.
That
That's
explains, you just like described Fierce in a nutshell. I've been 5 years of
Which is
iterating.
why you're so good at what you do. I love that.
Okay, so then let's talk about the things that are not me and you. So what's left over?
So let's start wonder. Wonder is for people that are W's, they love to come up with the big idea. So they love to dream. They love to just think. They love to be creative and think of something out of nothing, kind of. So that's at the very top. And then that's why I is next, invention. Inventors love that. Give me an idea and let me run with it. Let me make it better. So W, I, we've talked about D. G, galvanizers. They love to rally people around a common good, like a common project, a common path, where we're going. They love to encourage people. They love to support people. They love to really just rally the troops. They are those people that want to get everybody on the bus and moving, which is every team needs one of those. And then we have E. T, at the end is those people that love to take it across the finish line. So I think I already talked about that.
So tell us, how should somebody, maybe most of the people listening to this podcast now have come to the Blaze Expo. They've taken the assessment, so they maybe have an idea. They've gotten little snippets. How do you use the assessment to know yourself better first? How can you use that as a personal tool?
That is such a great question. I think first, as you get your results, really the first thing to do for anyone, all of us, is, do I resonate with this? Is this really reflective of who I think I am and what brings me joy and fulfillment? That's when you're looking at those top two geniuses, looking at, is that what really brings me joy and fulfillment? And then also look at your next two. Those are your working competencies. Am I good at those? Am I pretty okay at those? I don't mind doing them, but again, don't bring me a lot of fulfillment, and really just reflect on that. And then I think sometimes even better to start with your two frustrations and reflect on those. Are those two things, yeah, I can do them, but they don't bring me a lot of joy? Keep looking at each set. When we look at the 6, again, it's not a ranking, or it's not a rating, it's a ranking. Look and really discern, are your top two, are your middle two, and are your bottom two, your two frustrations? You can do them all, and we all do them all. It's looking through the lens, do they bring me joy and fulfillment? And then personally look at, what am I doing on a day-to-day basis, and how does that align with my results? Like in my job and at home, am I spending the majority of my time in the things that bring me joy in the top two? And if that's yes, fantastic. That affirms that you're in the right place, doing the right things, executing through life in the right way, and that you're filling yourself with joy and fulfillment. That's what we want for ourselves. That's what we want for the people that we work with. If you have your assessment results and you identify with those, but then you're looking at your personal life and your work life and going, wow, I'm actually spending more time doing things that frustrate me.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great kind of sign to then have a conversation. Is it a conversation with your spouse about just the responsibilities at home? And I'm doing a lot of the things that frustrate me, and that could be adding to why we're having tense situations at home. We all have those. Or is it, wow, the majority of my job is in my working frustrations. Maybe I need to share this with my supervisor, my leader, whoever that I can work through and figure out, could I adjust? Is there a different position? Is there a different pathway for me? Because if that person's feeling that frustration at work, their leader is probably seeing it too. Mm-hmm. So it just is a great vehicle to kind of open the doors to explain why things are happening the way they are, both in very positive and more frustrating.
It's interesting to think about the personal side, because I took the test myself this past fall, and I always joke that I'm going to do all the personality tests on my husband. I haven't officially disc test him yet, but I think I know what he's a CS for sure. Like, we're so opposite, it's not even funny. But I didn't think about like what is his working genius. So now I need to do that, because there's definitely times where, and I know Patrick talks about this in the book as well, like at home, how it comes out in avoidance of tasks and different things. And maybe sometimes two spouses are actually both bad at something and you don't realize it, and then you get frustrated with each other. So it is interesting to think about it from a personal perspective as well. My results do make sense to me, but I don't know. I have to do a little bit of reflecting about the at home. I guess it probably does there too. Like always, the idea and asking questions everywhere I go, even with my children. I'm sure that's one of their areas of frustration with me. But okay, so we're doing some individual assessment, comparing that to our personal lives, our work lives. How does a leader use that as a tool then?
That's what I love. I love that question, and love that there is a team work environment, a huge asset to this assessment. So all the 6 working geniuses are critical for ultimate efficiency within any industry. You need someone that's wondering and inventing, and then you need someone discerning, is that a good decision, and galvanizing the troops, and then you need the execution. So when we look at those 6 geniuses, there are then 3 phases of work. And we look at them and we need to have all those 3 phases of work where we're doing the top 2 in iteration. We need to be having that brainstorming happen. And then we need to have the discernment in the center, and then the execution at the bottom through all 3 of those. So we need the 3 stages of work. So as a leader, looking at your team as results and discerning, I'm a D is my 3rd. You look at that and you say, where are our gaps? Do we have gaps? If we do, where are they? Who could we leverage on the team that we could call into utilizing maybe their working competency that's in that genius to kind of fill in a gap? Or if you don't have it on your team, do you have someone maybe outside your team but still in your business that you could call up to sit in that seat to really help you make sure that you're looking at the entire work process of project, whatever you're working on, so that you have all voices at the table?
So do you tend to see consistencies between the different types of geniuses and different levels of management or leadership?
No, that's the beauty. We're all made as individuals. Any combination of genius in those top 2 can be in any role within an organization. So there's not a lot of in your top leadership team, you're going to have all W's or all I's or G's or what have you. You should see, because we are all individual people, some variety. Now you will have, now let's look for an example. And I was actually listening to a Working Genius podcast, and this was the example. They were working with a lot of accountants, a high-level accounting team. They have lots of T's on that team. They care about the details. They want to get the details right. So they have a lot of tenacity there. So they needed to become a little bit more diversified so that they're not just working on the fine details, that they're being able to step back and, again, look at the totality of a work project and bringing in other voices that is their working genius and strong suit to really bring to the table. So there are some working geniuses that you could maybe anticipate on a team, but overall you should have diversity because of individuals. We're all different.
So is that an area, like if you're a leader and you're assessing the team and you see gaps, is that an area you should be specifically looking to fill then?
Yes.
Like when you're hiring and you're looking at those types of situations, like
Spot
we
on.
might be missing a galvanizer, and a galvanizer is a really important part of a team.
That is completely accurate. So if you know you have a gap on the team, utilizing and seeing, trying to figure out in the hiring process, how do we ask questions that really pull out a galvanizing type individual? Offer the assessment too and find out. But yes, if you do have a gap, it is a wonderful kind of just perspective to go, wow, we need to get that filled, either internally
probably will match,
or by hire.
It'll match where an organization may be challenged or having some problems. Like if you're like, we always have great ideas, and we just really always have a hard time getting over the line, then maybe you don't have a lot of T or E on your team, right?
That is exactly right. And that, I'm so glad you brought that up, because that is one of the wonderful kind of activities that you can go through once you have your assessments. And then we can do a team map. You can actually get your team all mapped out on one map so you can easily see and discern, decipher where there are strengths and where are opportunities for improvement. But it really can help you figure out where to go to next. Like where should we be taking this, and where should we go next with ensuring that we have a fully represented team, which I just love. And then you can, one of the examples that an activity you can do is when you see that, then look at one of your most recent projects that didn't go so well and go, where was the fault in the process? Where did we fail in that process? When you look at the stages of work, where did we fail? And then you look at your map and go, oh, we didn't have as much E and T there that we thought in your example. Or maybe we didn't get enough momentum of excitement around the project and we all just lost interest, so we didn't have a G there. So it is, you can really look at, challenging projects where they just didn't turn out very well, and then use that
as a tool
against your team map and see, is that telling us something? Gives us clarity.
So I know there's different personality types. We use DISC a lot. We use this in the hiring process. We've actually talked with you about using the Working Genius as a complementary tool in our hiring process as well. One of the eye-opening things to me in the DISC process is really to understand how somebody else communicates. So how can I meet them where they're at? How can that be used from a Working Genius perspective? Like, for example, you're a T and E. Is it exhausting for you to sit in the room with somebody who is more a wonder or invention for too long? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, what does that look like to help understand team interaction with each other?
Absolutely. So let me say, it is very much equips people with understanding other people. Helps you understand yourself, but it helps you understand your team. And what I love about this tool is that it's pretty simple. It's very straightforward, simple, to help you really figure out how to communicate with others that are different than you. And when you understand who they are and how they approach work, you can better understand, okay, why are they communicating the way they are? Why am I communicating the way I am? Why are we having this friction? Like, now we understand we're approaching work from two completely different perspectives. So while you may have that frustration, you can then gain appreciation and kind of understanding why is that friction. They talk a lot about this tool helps give definition or identify that invisible frustration that those interpersonal relationships that we butt up against at work and at home. Like, we just can't understand why we're not connecting or clicking, or we know we're different. But you can't put your finger on why. This assessment can kind of help you just put language to that invisible wall, to make it visible, to help you understand. And as the person, circling back to what you said, do I get frustrated as an ET in a room with WIs? No. I know it's not my best work when I'm asked to be a WI, so I really need to work at it a little bit harder. But I also know as an ET, I need to appreciate the WIs because that's not my first language. I love and I'm so grateful for people that are WIs because I need that to make my work better. So
Well, and they need you to get it done.
right. So it's vice versa.
Yeah.
And so I think it really helps just add appreciation for one another. In the graphic of the working genius, the 6 working geniuses are gears. And I love that they're gears because it reinforces you need each one of them to have the best end result possible. And you can't take one out without not filling some sort of gap. And so operating as a highly effective team, having each one is critical. And we would advocate, if you don't have one, figure out how you might supplement to get that seat filled.
Well, I know I'm really excited personally to understand better about it, to understand myself better, but also to look at the team and maybe just understand the person, but also is our expectations of the role and the person actually out of alignment with what their skill set is. Because I am a wonder and an inventor, sometimes I expect other people to just ask as many questions as I do, to want to dive deep as I do. And so I'm excited for the opportunity to be able to embrace each other's strengths and see how we can work together better. It's also nice to, I think, sometimes be like, I'm actually really good at this. So not to feel bad about that sometimes. Sometimes we feel bad about what we're good at, if that makes any sense. I don't know why.
It does. It does. And I think also then we feel bad at what we're not good at. And we shouldn't. We just weren't made with that being our strong suit. So I think it goes both ways.
Yeah.
We feel good about, or we feel bad about what we're really good at, when embrace that, love that, get your joy and your fulfillment from that. Also, on the reverse, on your bottom 2 that bring you frustration, don't feel guilt, shame, anything about that. That's not what you were made to do that brings you joy and fulfillment. There was another example that I heard that I thought was so good, and it was an analogy about cars. There's 1,000 different cars out there, and all different kinds of makes and models for all different types of purposes. If I'm going to go off-roading, am I going to get my little, convertible coupe out to go off-roading? No. I'm not going to do that. That's not my best. That's not setting myself up for success. I'm going to go get the four-wheeler, the 4x4 Jeep that's all tanked out so that I can go out and go and experience that to the best of my ability. We as people are the same. We can't have an expectation for someone to be a wanderer and a dreamer and a creative that is made to be a details person. Vice versa. You can't expect a wanderer and an inventor to love the details. I also want to share you can be at both ends of the spectrum. You can be a W and a T all wrapped up into one.
That's an interesting combo.
Right? Right? That you have all of these wonderful ideas, but then you love to get into the details. You can be at both ends. And you can have a lot of diversity across because, again, we're all different. We all have different makes and models. That it's just about really figuring out what terrain do you work best in.
Is there a good ratio of, like, if you're looking at your role, because we do have to do all of the things, but is there a good ratio for the amount of time that should be spent on your geniuses versus your frustrations to help keep a healthy balance?
That's such a good question. I don't have off like a really good set percentage. I think the way I understand it and the way I've interpreted it is if you're spending the majority of your time in what brings you joy and fulfillment, is that 50% plus in the things that bring you joy and fulfillment, you are living a really great balanced life. Now, competencies come in there and your frustrations come in there. Your frustration should be the smallest percentage of your time. Is that 10, 15%? Could be. But we're also going to all use all of those geniuses at different times. There's been times in my life where I've been living in my bottom two for the majority of my time. And I grew a lot. I learned a lot. I needed to be there at that point in time. And then, it ebbed and flowed, and then it worked itself out. So I don't think, I guess I bring that up as don't get overly concerned if you do find yourself spending a lot of time in your frustrations for certain periods of time.
Not forever.
Not as long as it's not forever. But yes, there's seasons. That's life that we all get to adapt to.
Yeah, for us that's budgeting season. So I am not a T and an E. Those are my lowest. But during budgeting seasons, we got to be that. So
got to be there.
It's a 3 to 4 month period that I just know I need to spend a little bit more time on the details and getting things over the finish line. So
yeah. That's so good. I'm so glad you know that about yourself. I the same, that I know where I need to be sometimes that I just don't enjoy it as much, but you got to jump in and do it.
Well, I'm just learning about this, so I can't wait to work with you more and continue to just have an expanded knowledge of the working genius and how to apply that. I really appreciate everything that you've shared with us today, Deanna. If somebody wanted to reach out to you individually or as a company or a team to do a team exercise, how would they get a hold of you?
All of our information is right on our website. So look for Branches Consulting. Branches, we're out there. Look for us. I'm also on LinkedIn, so you're welcome to reach out to me there as well.
And you can always leave us a comment, and we'll make sure we get you in touch with Deanna and the Branches team. They're a really great and awesome resource for other business owners in our area. So we appreciate your partnership.
Likewise, we enjoy our fierce team very much.
Thanks for tuning in to Torch Talk. If today's story sparks something in you, share it with a colleague, community leader, or future change maker. Until next time, stay inspired, stay intentional, and keep your fire burning.